I always knew my family would destroy me. I just didn't expect them to do it in front of 2,000 people and a red carpet full of cameras. My name is Amber, and I've spent the last 12 months orchestrating what the society pages are calling the charitable event of the decade. Right now, I'm standing in the grand ballroom of the Rosewood Hotel at 3 a.m., surrounded by the aftermath of tonight's international charity gala. The cleaning crew works around me as I check items off my tablet, but my hands are shaking. 4 hours ago, I watched my cousin Sebastian steal an entire year of my life. Amber, darling, you look exhausted. My mother's voice cuts through my thoughts. She's still wearing her designer gown, though her perfect makeup is starting to crack around the edges. You should have gone home with the others. Just finishing the vendor payments, I reply, not looking up. Someone has to do it. That's what makes you so reliable. She says it like it's both a compliment and a curse. But you really should let the men handle the public side of things. They're better at taking credit? The words slip out before I can stop them. Amber, her tone carries a warning. We've discussed this. Sebastian has the presence, the connections. He's building a political career. This is how things work in this family. I think about the thousands of emails in my inbox, the countless sleepless nights coordinating with celebrities' managers, the tears of frustration when our main caterer backed out 2 weeks ago, the spreadsheets, the contracts, the army of volunteers I personally recruited and trained. Did you see his interview? I ask, my voice carefully neutral. He was magnificent, she beams. The way he described his vision for the foundation. His vision? My laugh comes out sharp enough to make her flinch. Mom, he didn't even know which charity we were supporting until last week. I have the texts to prove it. A cleaning lady accidentally bumps my chair, muttering apologies. I wave her off with a smile, the kind of smile Sebastian never bothers to give the staff. Don't be difficult, my mother sighs. Your cousin is doing us all a favor by being the face of these events. You're so good with the small things. The small things, like securing 500,000 in donations, like coordinating with the UN representatives, like managing 100 moving pieces so Sebastian could walk onto a stage and pretend he did more than show up. My phone buzzes. It's a news alert. The first coverage is already online. I click the link and there he is, Sebastian in his perfectly tailored tuxedo, flashing that practiced smile. The caption reads, Visionary philanthropist Sebastian Blair leads groundbreaking international gala. Oh, that's a wonderful photo, my mother coos, reading over my shoulder. Though you should have let Angela handle the lighting. It's a touch harsh on his left side. I actually laughed this time. I didn't let Angela handle the lighting because she's in Bali. Has been for months. I handled the lighting. I handled everything. Now you're just being petty. She pats my shoulder. We all know how hard you work, dear. But this is about the bigger picture, the family name, the legacy. Legacy. That word again. The excuse for every silence they've bought, every credit they've stolen. My phone buzzes again. This time it's Sebastian himself. Need you to process my share of the organizing fee by Monday. Standard split, 70-30. Great work tonight, cuz. Couldn't have done it without you. I stare at the message until the words blur. Somewhere in the back of my mind, a door clicks shut. A different one opens. You're right, Mom, I say, standing up. It is about legacy. She looks relieved. I'm glad you understand. I do. Finally. I gather my tablet and purse. I understand everything now. As I walk out of the ballroom, my heels clicking against the marble floor, I open my personal email, the one not connected to the family accounts. I create a new folder and name it Receipts. Tomorrow, I start gathering evidence. Tonight, I let them celebrate their stolen victory. They don't know it yet, but I'm about to become their worst nightmare. A quiet woman who's finally done being quiet. The gala's success hit like a tidal wave. Within hours, its global giving was trending. Celebrity photos flooded social media, and donation pledges exceeded our wildest projections. I should have been celebrating. Instead, I was watching Sebastian work the morning news circuit like a puppet master. Tell us about the moment you conceived this incredible event, the host of Wake Up America beamed at him. Sebastian adjusted his tie, the same nervous tic he'd had since we were kids. You know, I've always believed in thinking big. When I saw the crisis in education funding, I knew we had to bring together the right people, the right energy. I muted the TV and turned to Jennifer, my lead volunteer coordinator, who was helping me sort through donation records. Did he just take credit for the education initiative too? The one you developed with the UN task force last spring? Jennifer's fingers flew across her keyboard. Yeah, he definitely just did that. My phone lit up with a text from Ruby, my sister. OMG sis, this man has no shame. Want me to leak those videos of him asking what UNESCO stands for? I smiled, despite myself. Not yet, I typed back. The office door swung open and Sebastian strutted in, still wearing his TV makeup. Amber! My favorite cousin. Did you catch my interviews? Hard to miss them, I replied, not looking up from my spreadsheet. Listen, we need to talk about the financial breakdown. He perched on my desk, casually pushing aside a stack of contracts. The foundation board is thrilled. They're talking about making this an annual event. It already was planned as an annual event. It's in the proposal I wrote last year. Right. He waved dismissively. Anyway, about the organizing fee, I've had my assistant draw up the paperwork for the split. Jennifer's head snapped up. Split? What split? Standard family arrangement, Sebastian smiled at her. I front the vision and connections. Amber handles the administrative details. 70-30 is generous, considering. The room went quiet. Even the air conditioning seemed to hold its breath. Generous? I finally looked at him. I worked on this for a year. You showed up 3 days ago. Come on, Amber, you know how this works. My name, my contacts, my press coverage, that's what made this happen. You're good at the background stuff, but let's be realistic about who brings the real value. Jennifer stood up, face flushed. Are you actually... I held up a hand to stop her. It's fine, Jennifer. Could you give us a minute? Once she left, I opened my laptop and turned it towards Sebastian. Let's talk about real value. Here's an email from the UN ambassador, to me, not you, confirming the initiative. Here's the vendor contract I negotiated, saving us 30%. Here's the volunteer training manual I wrote. Here's the... Nobody cares about paperwork, Amber. He rolled his eyes. What matters is the story people believe. And right now, they believe I created something amazing. Don't ruin this with your... what does Mom call it? Your detail obsession. A reporter from the Mirror appeared in my doorway, notebook in hand. Ms. Lowe, I was hoping to get your perspective on... She's not authorized to give statements. Sebastian cut in smoothly, standing. But I'd be happy to provide any information you need. Amber, send those payment forms to my office by tomorrow? I watched him guide the reporter away, already launching into another practice speech about his philanthropic vision. My phone buzzed again. Ruby had sent a video clip from the Gala setup showing Sebastian asking where we should put the UNESCO thing. For a moment, I felt that familiar pressure to stay quiet, be reliable, handle the small things. Then I looked at my laptop screen, still displaying the endless trail of emails, contracts, and proof of my work. Jennifer, I called out, could you come back in here and bring your social media analytics report? She returned, eyes bright with understanding. Going to war? Not war, I said, opening a new document. Just truth, with receipts. I titled the file, The Real Story of the Global Education Gala, and started typing. Sebastian wanted to talk about value? Fine. Let's see how valuable his name is when everyone knows exactly what it's worth. The binder sat on my desk like a loaded weapon, black, 3 inches thick, with every page color-coded and indexed. 2 weeks of sleepless nights had produced the most dangerous thing I'd ever created. Proof. "This is nuclear," Jennifer whispered, flipping through the tabs. "The donor correspondence alone." "Keep going," I said, watching her face. "It gets better." She reached the section with screenshots from our project management software. Oh my God, he literally never logged in? Not once in 12 months? Not even to check the budget. I took a sip of my 4th coffee, which he's now demanding 70% of. My phone lit up with Angela's name. I let it go to voicemail. She'd been calling hourly since I'd started gathering evidence, alternating between concern and warnings about family loyalty. "The reporter from the Mirror is here," my assistant's voice crackled through the intercom. "Perfect timing." I straightened my blazer. "Send her in." Sarah from the Mirror wasn't what Sebastian would consider major press, which is exactly why I chose her. No family connections, no favors owed, just a reputation for ruthless fact-checking. "Ms. Lowe," she nodded, setting up her recorder. "Thank you for making time." "Call me Amber." I gestured to the chair. "Before we start, I want to be clear. Everything I'm about to share is documented. Every email, text, and contract is authentic." "I understand." She pulled out a notebook. "And you're sure you want to do this? Family disputes can get messy." I slid the binder across my desk. "They're already messy. I'm just turning on the lights." For the next hour, I walked her through it all. The late-night emails with international partners, the video calls Sebastian skipped, the budget he never reviewed, the volunteers he couldn't name. With each revelation, Sarah's eyebrows climbed higher. "This is comprehensive," she said finally, closing the binder. "But why now? Why not speak up sooner?" My phone buzzed again. Angela. I silenced it. "Because I thought I was crazy," I admitted. Every time they dismissed my work as just details or back-end stuff, I wondered if maybe they were right. Maybe I was being petty, ungrateful. And now? Now I know they gaslit me into believing success only counts if a man takes credit for it. Jennifer, who'd been quietly updating social media metrics in the corner, looked up. The hashtag "she credit where it's due" is already gaining traction. People are sharing similar stories. "That's not part of this," I said quickly to Sarah. "The hashtag wasn't my idea." "But it's relevant," Jennifer insisted. "Show her the DMs from other women in the industry." I hesitated, then pulled up my messages. Hundreds of them, from event planners, assistants, creative directors, all sharing stories of stolen credit, minimized contributions, men taking bows for women's work. Sarah's fingers flew across her notebook. "This is bigger than one gala, isn't it?" "Much bigger." I opened my email and clicked send, which is why I just forwarded you something interesting about the family trust. My phone lit up again. Sebastian this time. "Where are you? The payment paperwork is due." "Perfect timing," I smiled, grabbing my bag. "Jennifer, could you show Sarah out? I have a meeting to attend." I found Sebastian in his corner office, man spreading behind his mahogany desk. "Finally!" "I was starting to think you were avoiding me." "Not avoiding." I set my own copy of the binder in front of him. "Just preparing." "What's this?" "Everything." I kept my voice light. "Every email, every contract, every screenshot of you taking credit for work you never did. The Mirror has a copy too. Their fact-checkers are probably calling right now." The color drained from his face as he flipped through the pages. "You can't. This isn't. We're family." "Exactly. And family should protect each other, not steal from each other." His phone started ringing, then mine, then his again. "You've ruined everything," he whispered. "No," I corrected him, walking to the door. "I just turned on the lights. You ruined everything by forgetting that details matter. And I'm very, very good with details." I left him there, surrounded by proof of his own lies, and felt something I hadn't felt in years. Visible. The Mirror's article dropped like a bomb at exactly 6 a.m. By 6:05, my phone was exploding. By 6:15, credit where it's due was trending. By 6:30, Uncle Theodore had called an emergency family meeting. "What have you done?" My mother burst into my apartment, still in her yoga clothes. "The foundation board is in chaos. Sebastian's political contacts are distancing themselves. Your uncle is having a meltdown?" I finished, not looking up from my laptop where comments were pouring in. "Good. This isn't a game, Amber." She paced my living room. "Do you have any idea what's at stake?" My phone lit up with a text from Ruby. "OMG, sis. Sebastian just went live on Instagram trying to spin this. It's tragic." I pulled up the video. Sebastian, looking unusually disheveled, was attempting damage control. My cousin Amber has always been an invaluable support to my philanthropic vision. While she may feel underappreciated, I've always considered her my right hand in... "Turn that off," my mother snapped. "We need to get ahead of this. Angela's already drafted a statement for you to sign, retracting the article." "Angela?" I laughed. "The cousin who's been in Bali for 6 months? That Angela?" "She's flying back tonight. She understands the implications for the family trust." Something in her tone made me look up. "What about the trust?" "Nothing." She said it too quickly. "Just financial matters you don't need to worry about." My phone buzzed again. Jennifer had sent a screenshot from the foundation's donor portal. Major sponsors were pulling their statements of support for Sebastian. The UN educational partner had requested an emergency meeting. "Ms. Lowe," a voice called from my hallway. "Gabriel Vasquez from Crisis Management. Your uncle sent me." I opened the door to find a sharp-suited man with tired eyes. "Let me guess, you're here to fix this?" "I'm here to understand it." He pulled out a tablet. "And based on these donor reactions, we need to move fast." My mother brightened. "Yes, exactly. Amber will retract." "Actually," Gabriel interrupted, "I was going to suggest Mr. Blair step back from public appearances. These receipts are compelling." "Receipts?" my mother echoed. "Everything's documented," I said. "Every lie, every theft, every vision he claimed." "But the trust," she whispered. "Theodore will never..." "Never what?" I pressed. "What about the trust?" Gabriel glanced between us, then at his tablet. "Interesting. The trust documentation isn't in any of these files." "Because it's private," my mother said quickly. "Family only." Another text from Ruby. "Found something weird in Grandma's old papers. Call me ASAP." "Mrs. Lowe," Gabriel said carefully, "if there's relevant information about the trust, now would be the time to share it, before others do." My mother's face went pale. She grabbed her purse. "I need to speak with Theodore." "Amber, don't do anything else until we..." "Until you what?" I stood up. "Silence me like you silenced yourself?" She froze at the door. "What are you talking about?" "Ruby found Grandma's letters about the foundation, the one you built but never got credit for." The silence was deafening. Gabriel quietly tapped on his tablet. "That was different," my mother finally said. "It was expected. Women didn't..." "Didn't what?" "Deserve credit, get paid." "Tell me, Mom, what exactly is in that trust that has you so scared?" Her phone rang. Uncle Theodore's ringtone. She answered without taking her eyes off me. "Yes, I'm with her now." No, she doesn't understand. Yes, I'll bring her. Actually, I said loudly enough for Theodore to hear, I'm not going anywhere. But feel free to tell Uncle Theodore that Jennifer is about to post some interesting documents about the family trust's history of compensating women's work through male ownership. I'm sure the press will love that angle. My mother dropped her phone. Gabriel stopped typing. You wouldn't, she whispered. I opened my laptop and turned it toward her. On the screen was a draft article titled The Hidden History of the Blair Family Trust. How generations of women were silenced. Try me. She stared at the screen, then at me, then at her fallen phone where Theodore was still shouting. For the first time in my life, I saw something new in her eyes. Recognition. What do you want? She asked quietly. The truth, I said. All of it. Starting with what happened to Grandma's foundation. Behind us, Gabriel cleared his throat. Should I reschedule the crisis meeting? No, I smiled. I think we're right on schedule. The betrayal came on a Tuesday, over coffee. Angela sat across from me at our favorite cafe, jet-lagged from her emergency flight from Bali, stirring her latte with mechanical precision. You have to understand, she said, not meeting my eyes. I had no choice. I stared at the printed emails spread between us, copies of my evidence binder, annotated with the family lawyer's notes. Documents I'd only shared with 3 people. You gave them everything. My voice sounded distant, even to myself. The donor records, the contracts, the trust research. Theodore was going to cut off my trust fund. She grabbed my hand. You know what that means. My business, my house, everything. I pulled away. So you sold me out. I tried to protect you. I told them to negotiate, to give you credit for future events. Future events? I laughed. You think this is about getting my name on a program? My phone buzzed. Jennifer had sent an urgent message. Amber, the family's PR firm just released a statement. They're saying you manipulated documents, that Sebastian was the real architect. Angela flinched when I showed her the screen. It's not what you think. Really? Because it looks like you helped them build a counter-narrative. How long have you been feeding them information? They needed to know what they were up against. She leaned forward. You're destroying the family's reputation, the foundation's work, everything we've built. We? I cut in. Or the men who took credit for it? The cafe door chimed. Gabriel walked in, looking grim. Angela's face went white. Ms. Lowe, he nodded to me, then turned to Angela. The board would like to speak with you, now. You're working with him? Angela gasped. After everything I told you about... About what? I asked Gabriel. What else did she tell them? He pulled out his phone and played a recording. Angela's voice filled the quiet cafe. Amber's always been jealous of Sebastian. She's unstable, vindictive. She'll destroy everything just to prove a point. The recording continued, but I'd heard enough. Every secret I'd shared with Angela over years of friendship twisted into weapons against me. I did it to help you, she pleaded. To show them you needed support, guidance. Stop. I stood up, gathering the documents. Just stop. Amber, please. The board's waiting, Gabriel reminded her. As Angela hurried out, Gabriel sat down in her vacant seat. For what it's worth, I didn't believe her character assassination attempt. Why are you helping me? I asked. Aren't you on Theodore's payroll? I was hired to manage crisis communications. He shrugged. Right now, the biggest crisis is the family's treatment of its women, and unlike some people, I keep detailed records. My phone buzzed again. Jennifer had sent another update. Donors are demanding an audit of all foundation projects. They want to know who really did the work. Your cousin's statement backfired, Gabriel noted. People are asking questions about other family ventures, the trust structure, the pattern of male executives taking credit for female labor. I opened my laptop and pulled up the draft article about the family trust. Then let's give them answers. They'll try to discredit you, he warned. Angela's betrayal was just the beginning. I know. I started typing, but I have something they don't. What's that? I turned the screen to show him. Dozens of emails from other women in the industry, sharing similar stories. Screenshots of Sebastian's contradictory statements, financial records showing the trust's gender-based compensation structure. The truth, I said, and an army of women who are done being silent. Gabriel smiled slightly. Need a PR consultant who actually believes in accountability? Are you offering to switch sides? Let's just say I keep receipts too. He pulled out a USB drive, including some interesting audio from Theodore's crisis meetings. My phone lit up with a text from Ruby. Found more of Grandma's letters. You're not going to believe this. I looked at Gabriel. How do you feel about family secrets? I feel like they only have power in the dark. He gestured to my laptop. Shall we turn on some lights? I started a new document and titled it, The Blair Family Trust, a Legacy of Stolen Credit. Sometimes betrayal is just the universe's way of showing you who your real allies are. Tell me about the moment you decided to speak up. The podcast host leaned into her microphone. What was your breaking point? I adjusted my headphones, aware of the live stream counter ticking up. Thousands watching. No turning back now. It wasn't one moment, I said. It was 1,000 tiny moments. Every time my cousin took credit for my work, every time my uncle called me supportive instead of successful, every time my mother told me to be grateful for being invisible. And now your story has sparked a movement. Credit Where It's Due has over 1 million posts. Jennifer, monitoring social media from the corner, gave me a thumbs up. My phone vibrated, another message from Sebastian's lawyers about the defamation suit. The response has been overwhelming, I continued. Women from every industry sharing similar experiences, assistants, creative directors, project managers, all with the same story, men taking credit for their work. Your family's response has been aggressive. I laughed. You mean the lawsuit? Or the press release claiming I'm mentally unstable? Or my cousin Angela's tearful interview about my vindictive jealousy? All of it. How are you handling the backlash? Before I could answer, Jennifer rushed over with her tablet. You need to see this. It was a TikTok video, footage from the Gala rehearsals, me directing staff, coordinating with celebrities' managers, solving crisis after crisis. Sebastian nowhere in sight. The caption read, "Watch the unstable woman single-handedly run a global event while the visionary was getting spray-tanned." It's going viral, Jennifer whispered. The podcast host peered at her monitor. We're getting flooded with comments, women sharing videos of their own stolen credit moments. My phone buzzed again. Gabriel. Theodore just called an emergency board meeting. They're panicking. Your grandmother's foundation letters cause quite a stir, the host continued. Can you tell us about those? Actually, I pulled out a weathered envelope. I brought one to read. My sister found it hidden in an old accounting book. The host leaned forward. Is this the first time you're sharing this publicly? Yes. I unfolded the letter with trembling hands. It's dated 1985, addressed to my mother. The studio went silent as I read. My dearest Nora, I know they're making you sign over the foundation to your brother. They'll say it's for the family's good, that men handle business better. Don't believe them. I built this foundation while your father took the credit. Now they'll make you do the same. I'm sorry I wasn't strong enough to fight. Maybe you'll be braver than me. Love, Mom. Powerful, the host whispered. And your mother signed it over, just like her mother before her. I tucked the letter away. But I'm not signing anything. Jennifer's tablet lit up again. Holy shit. The Foundation's female board members just called for an independent audit of all projects from the last 20 years. My phone. Gabriel again. Theodore's trying to lock down the trust documents. Too late. I already have copies. It seems things are developing even as we speak, the host noted. What's your endgame here? Truth, I said simply. Recognition for every woman who's been erased. Change in how family businesses treat their supportive female members. And your cousin's lawsuit? I smiled. Funny you should mention that. I believe Sebastian's assistant is about to hold her own press conference. Something about being pressured to fabricate evidence. The host's eyes widened. Exclusive. She's going live in an hour. Turns out I'm not the only one who kept receipts. Jennifer rushed over again, grinning. The hashtag just passed 2 million posts. And guess what's trending now? Where was Sebastian? People are sharing every photo from the gala where he claimed to be managing things, but was actually at the spa. My phone buzzed one last time. Ruby. Mom's crying over Grandma's letters. Says she's ready to talk. About everything. Ms. Lowe? The host leaned in. You look emotional. I am. I took a deep breath. Because this stopped being about me the moment I realized how many women were waiting for someone to go first. To say enough. And what would you say to those women now? Keep your receipts, I smiled, and when the time comes to use them, don't whisper, roar. The livestream counter hit 100,000. Sometimes the truth doesn't need spin, it just needs witnesses. The women in Leadership Gala felt different, maybe because I was walking the red carpet instead of organizing it, maybe because my name was actually on the program, or maybe because Sebastian was nowhere in sight. Ready? Jennifer adjusted my microphone. You're trending before you even start. How's the live stream looking? 500,000 waiting, and the foundation board is in the front row. I peeked through the curtain. Uncle Theodore's seat was conspicuously empty, but my mother was there, sitting straight-backed beside Angela. Both looked uncomfortable. Good. 2 minutes. Gabriel appeared beside me, tablet in hand. Sebastian's lawyers just withdrew the lawsuit. Timing's not a coincidence, I assume. He smiled. His assistant's testimony was very thorough. Apparently, she kept audio recordings of him ordering her to fabricate evidence. The lights dimmed. A woman's voice announced, "Please welcome our keynote speaker, Amber Lowe." The applause hit like a wave as I walked onto the stage. Cameras flashed. In the front row, my mother's hands were clenched tight in her lap. "Thank you," I began. Though I have to admit public speaking is new to me, I usually handle the small things behind the scenes, knowing laughter from the audience. But today, I want to talk about small things, about details, about the women who track every email, save every receipt, document every contribution, not because we're obsessive, but because we've learned we have to. I clicked to the first slide, my grandmother's foundation letterhead, 1985. This was built by my grandmother. You won't find her name anywhere on it, just like you won't find my mother's name on the educational initiatives she developed, just like my name was erased from the gala that went viral. In the audience, my mother's head snapped up. But here's the thing about erasure. It leaves marks, empty spaces, questions, and when you start asking those questions, I clicked to the next slide, the trust documents Gabriel had uncovered. You find patterns. The room went deadly quiet as I walked through the numbers. Decades of women's work funneled into men's names. Compensation structures designed to keep power concentrated. a system so ingrained that even the victims defended it. Mom, I turned to the front row, would you like to tell them about the education initiative? The real story? For a moment, I thought she wouldn't move. Then, slowly, she stood, walked to the stage, took the microphone with trembling hands. She faltered, then straightened. I designed the initiative in 1992. Every detail. Theodore said it would be better coming from him, more credible. I believed him. The audience murmured. Cameras clicked. And Grandma's foundation? I prompted gently. She built it from nothing. My mother's voice grew stronger. She worked 18-hour days while my father played golf. When she died, they wrote him into the history books and wrote her out. Angela stood up abruptly, heading for the exit. Several phones tracked her retreat. But that's not even the biggest revelation tonight, I continued. Gabriel, would you join us? He walked on stage, carrying a thick folder. The independent audit is complete. Over the past 20 years, 78% of the family's successful initiatives were conceived and executed by women who received no credit, including all of Sebastian's supposed achievements. The folder opened. Documents appeared on the screen behind us. Proof after proof after proof. Speaking of Sebastian, I smiled. His assistant couldn't be here tonight, but she sent a video statement. The screen changed. A young woman appeared, looking nervous but determined. Mr. Blair asked me to lie, to say Ms. Lowe was unstable, jealous, vindictive. He promised me a promotion. When I refused, he threatened my job. So I started recording our conversations. The audio played. Sebastian's voice filled the room, desperate and demanding. In the audience, phones lifted to capture every damning word. The foundation board has already voted, Gabriel announced. Sebastian is permanently barred from any involvement in future events. More applause. My mother was crying quietly beside me. This isn't about revenge, I said finally. It's about correction, recognition, and making sure no other woman has to keep receipts just to prove she exists. I turned to my mother. Would you like to tell them about your new position as foundation director? She took the microphone, tears streaming. Actually, she smiled, I have quite a lot to say. The live stream counter hit 1 million. Sometimes justice looks like a woman finally speaking her own name. You know what's funny? Ruby pours more wine into our glasses. I always thought you were the quiet one in the family. We're sitting on my new apartment's balcony, watching the sunset paint the city gold. Below, a group of young women file into the building's conference room. Tonight's mentorship meeting starts in 30 minutes. I was quiet, I say. Just not empty. My phone buzzes with a news alert. Blair Foundation announces all-female board. Below it, a photo of my mother at the podium, looking fierce and alive in a way I've never seen before. Sebastian's still not speaking to anyone. Ruby scrolls through her own phone. Apparently, he's writing a memoir about being cancelled by woke culture or something. How's Angela doing in Bali? Still there, still posting inspirational quotes about forgiveness and family first. Still blocked on all my accounts. The doorbell rings. Jennifer walks in with her laptop and a stack of papers. Sorry to interrupt sister time, but you need to see these applications. She spreads them across the table. Hundreds of submissions for our new women's leadership program. Each one a story of stolen credit, silenced voices, receipts kept just in case. The donor list is impressive too, Jennifer continues. Turns out a lot of powerful women were waiting for someone to go first. Ruby picks up one of the applications. Oh my God, this one's from Sebastian's assistant. She's applying for the executive training scholarship. Accept her, I say immediately, and double the scholarship amount. My phone rings. Gabriel's ringtone. The trust audit's finished, he says without preamble. They found 3 more foundations built by women in the family, all credited to men. Your grandmother's was just the beginning. Send everything to Mom, I tell him. She'll know what to do. After hanging up, I notice Ruby and Jennifer staring at me. What? Nothing, Ruby grins. Just remembering how you used to apologize for being detail-oriented. Now look at you, building an empire out of receipts. The conference room below is filling up. Women of all ages, laptops open, voices rising, each one carrying her own story of being erased, minimized, silenced. It's not an empire, I correct her. It's a revolution, one receipt at a time. Jennifer's tablet pings. Speaking of receipts, Theodore just tried to register a new foundation. The board shut him down in 12 minutes flat. Mom's work? Actually, it was Aunt Patricia. Apparently, she's been keeping records since 1997. We all laugh. The family's quiet women are turning out to be anything but. The doorbell rings again. This time it's my mother, looking younger somehow, carrying a familiar weathered box. Found more of Grandma's letters, she says, setting it down. And something else. She pulls out an old leather journal. My records. Every project they took from me. Every idea they stole. Every time they told me to be grateful for being invisible. Mom? Ruby starts. I'm not here for sympathy, she cuts in. I'm here because these young women downstairs, they need to know. All of it. The history, the patterns, the ways power stays power. She straightens her blazer. The same fierce energy I saw at the gala. If you'll have me, I'd like to teach tonight's session. Through the window, I can see the conference room is packed now. Women spilling into the hallway, sharing stories, comparing notes, building something new from the ashes of what was stolen. They're all yours, I smile. As my mother heads downstairs, Ruby raises her glass. To quiet women? To loud ones, Jennifer counters. To both, I say, standing to follow my mother. Because sometimes the quietest women make the loudest moves. My phone buzzes one last time, a message from one of our mentees. Thank you for showing us our receipts matter. They still call me detail-oriented, but now they say it with respect, even fear. Because they finally understand what I knew all along. Details aren't small things. They're ammunition, and every woman I know is armed to the teeth.